Fuck is happening? Oh, hi. Well, that was embarrassing. This is the Not Quite Daily Show with Requiem. I'll be your host, Requiem. What's that name again? Mr. Plow. Oh, wait. Wrong show. Anyways, we have a lot of exciting news on the bat for you guys today. For example, did you know that we have a black president? Oh, we've had one for 4 years now. Huh. Who'd have thunk it? We're gonna have one for another 4 years! Yes! Congratulations. Barack Obama has been elected the president as of yesterday, or this morning, depending on which channel you were watching. If you're watching Fox or CNN. Well, today. Everyone else tomorrow. It's actually kind of funny that Fox called it first because they've been notoriously very Republican. And yet they seem to have been pulling for Barack Obama. Why? Why is that? Why are they suddenly kind of happy that Barack Obama is president? Actually, as it turns out, it's because now they have somebody to talk shit about for 4 more years. Ha! Who'd have thunk it? Surprisingly, the ratings went up more than 25% during Barack Obama's first term in office, leading them to become one of the largest cable news networks. Kinda scary, huh? Yeah, I thought so too. In some other news that you may not have heard if you were just watching those channels and not really paying any attention to what people were actually voting on across the country, because, let me tell you, it's a lot more than just a presidential election. People elected, get this, senators, also members of the House of Representatives. And I hear that people actually voted on things that weren't people, weren't representatives. For example, Maryland and Maine have both voted for marriage equality. That means that same-sex couples, you may now flock to Maryland and Maine to get yourselves married. Also, Minnesota did not vote for banning marriage. The same happened in Washington. These are both amazing events. I remember the last time that someone voted on marriage equality was North Carolina, and we kind of dropped the ball on that one by a large majority. And then we dropped the ball again. Apparently now we have a Republican governor and lots of Republicans. I'm sorry. I'm really starting to wish that I was doing this out of New York, even though, you know, the power. If you can charge your iPhone, I'm pretty sure I can find a place to plug my laptop in for long enough to do a webcast. But you never know. Anyways, speaking of superstorms, Sandy has wrecked a large part of our country, leading some people to think that this is global warming. No, it's a hurricane. What does warm oceans and, you know, all that stuff have to do with hurricanes? Absolutely nothing, says no scientist ever. Actually, it has more to do with, well, God knew a couple days ahead of time that all these states were going to legalize gay marriage. And you may not think that this is a very godlike storm, but it is. I didn't realize this until today when I found out that a large sewage treatment plant until I realized that a large sewage treatment plant in New Jersey was completely destroyed, spraying shit everywhere. The officials in New Jersey are now trying to fix the sewage treatment plant, and they are actually streaming it live over the internet, although I hear the ratings weren't that good. Apparently Jersey Shore is the only shit that you can put on air out of New Jersey and actually get good ratings. Who'd have thunk it? Also in our same-sex news, we have the first openly gay senator coming out of Wisconsin, of all places. So take that, Paul Ryan. Her name is Tammy Baldwin. And oh. Hey, look at that. I take sloppy notes and it doesn't tell me what she was elected to. But we have elected a disabled woman veteran in Tammy Duckworth. Let me just pause for a second to show you pictures of Tammy Duckworth and show you why this is so amazing. Yeah, that's right. She doesn't have fucking legs. Now, sure, you would say, we had a president who couldn't walk. You're right, but he had legs and a wheelchair and wasn't nearly this awesome. Also, he lost his legs to a childhood disease, and that's not nearly as cool as having them blown off in a war. In other election news, Senator Todd Legitimate Rape Aiken and Richard Rape is a Gift from God Murdoch were both, well, they both lost. So, any Rape is a Gift from God fans, or Legitimate Rape fans, I'm sorry. But as it turns out, women have a way to shut that whole thing down. This is a little bit more personal for me, but we had 2 independents verified so far that won seats on the Senate. One of them would be Angus King, who was the former governor of Maine, coming out of, surprisingly enough, Maine, and out of Vermont, Senator Bernie Sanders, who is the single most awesome person in the Senate or House of Representatives ever. Don't believe me? Listen to this. Other news, I am about to eat this fucking egg because I'm hungry and you interrupted me. That's right. I didn't turn the cameras on. They came on and I had to start doing a show. So much for being unprepared. Oh, it's so good. Oh, yeah. Oh, that yolk all in my mouth. I'll swallow it, baby. Yeah, I will. Mmm. 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 Sorry, the next headline actually gave me the munchies. In Colorado and Washington, it is now legal to smoke weed if you are over 21. Hooray for being 22! That's the first time I've ever said that. Also, in Massachusetts, it is legal to use marijuana for medical purposes. In other slightly more random news, in Maryland, a version of the DREAM Act was approved. If you're not familiar with that, the DREAM Act is the act that would have been passed through our House and Senate if they weren't all a bunch of racists. It allows undocumented citizens in the state of Maryland to attend public colleges at the price of in-state tuition, even though they are not legal residents of the United States, if they attend Maryland public high schools for at least 3 years. This is a major break for them, and I hope you're happy for it, because I definitely am. In Montana, it was overwhelmingly voted for a measure to keep corporate spending out of elections. That means that democracy is alive and well in Montana, but pretty much not the rest of this country. And once you come to realize that each of the 2 parties spent over $100 million just on campaign ads in just the state of Ohio in this election cycle, you gotta be wondering, why isn't this type of legislation being passed in more places? Well, at least I'm wondering that, and you can start wondering it now since I brought it to your attention. And finally, California has rejected a proposal that would have curbed the political influence of unions. Because, let's face it, if corporations are people, unions are definitely people. But then again, I've never liked that logic to begin with. I mean, corporations are made of people, I understand that. There are definitely people that exist within corporations. I'm not going to argue with that. But I also have skin cells. In fact, I'm mostly, or at least a majority of the outside of my body is made up of skin cells. But, on the other hand, that does not make me a skin cell. So, you know, if you can see that logic, you see where I'm coming from. And in other news, and as you may have seen in the intro for this video, I have recently discovered a set of very, very, very cowaway pictures of Barack Obama and Mitt Romney's longing glances at each other during the presidential debates. And they're fucking hilarious. You should check these out. Just Google Obama-Romney Kawaii. K-A-W-A-I-I. For those of you who are not familiar with that term, go watch anime. You'll get it. Believe me, you'll understand this a lot better if you watch a lot of anime. Which is probably the only thing in life that you actually understand a lot better from watching anime. But it's also one of the funnier things. Well, this has been the Not Quite Daily Show, and I've been your glad and now assuming the chair pose in yoga host, Requiem, and I hope you will join me for my next installment, which will appear as soon as something politically relevant happens. And, come on, we got a black man for president. It's not going to be long. So, until next time, I'll see you guys, and remember, I am not a crook. Peace.